Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the mini series. I'm glad that you're joining. Today, we are going to be talking about the new book from Tijan, which, again, if I say it wrong, I apologize. That's just how I'm going to say it, is Tijan. Unless someone corrects me, and even in my head, I'm still going to say Tijan. So, her latest book is called Frisco, and I genuinely enjoyed it. I really did. And I would say if you have seen the show Sons of Anarchy, it is like exactly like Sons of Anarchy. Like it's about a motorcycle gang and kind of the different dynamics. It doesn't get too in detailed with the dynamics, but if you've seen the show, you understand like all the terms that they use, which was really interesting. My husband and I have we've watched the show, I think maybe two times, definitely one time all the way through, and then maybe we started it again and maybe only got like halfway or something. But we've definitely watched it, so we were familiar with kind of the terms like old lady and the VP and MC and like all of it. So I genuinely enjoyed it. So this book is a one-off book, which we love. I think you could probably do a series with it, maybe just like different characters that are involved. But it is a one-off. It is like standalone. It is in the same universe as, let's see, as Canary and Kess. It's before the book Cade, though, of her books. I'm talking about Tijan's books. So I have read Canary. I've read Cade. And this biker gang, they're called the Red Demons, and they are mentioned in The Boy I Grew Up With, which I have read that one. That one was good. Crew Princess and Always Crew. And I haven't read those ones. So if you like that universe, I don't know if they really mention the biker gang in like Canary and Kess. From what I can remember, I don't think they do, but it's been forever since we did Canary, because that was literally my very first podcast episode. So I might go back and read it just because I know I did enjoy it, and see if they do mention the Red Demons. I don't know. It'd kind of be a cool little cameo. So again, if you like biker gangs, if you love Sons of Anarchy, I think they even did a show of like the Mayans. If you just love that world, then this book is going to be perfect for you. Like the pacing was really great, the timeline, the introduction of characters. There wasn't a dull moment or a moment where I'm like, okay, can like something happen? I want to say it's pretty accurate with like the Sons of Anarchy when like there's always something happening with like the group, the clubs that they're associated with, their enemies, their allies. Like there is always something going on, and that like it was perfect in this book because when you thought like everything would kind of calm down, another thing happened that they would have to go and deal with, and a situation that they're going with. Like I felt like it was accurate, even though I have no idea. I have no idea. But once again, if you like the show, you'll love this book. I did another thing that I did like. So the characters are a little bit older. So Callie is our main female character, and she is 36, which I love that. They're more mature characters. Shane is the main male character. I want to say that he's around the same age, if not a little bit younger. Before I get really into like the story, there isn't really going to be any spoilers in this book. I'm just going to basically tell you like the main summary of it. But yeah, there are a lot of twists and turns, and it just keeps you entertained the whole time. But this is not Mother Sister Standard approved. I don't think that they would like it. The spice level, it was good. Like it was about a 3 out of 5 spice. Nothing like really descriptive. Nothing like ugh. Like it was all run of the mill spice. It was very Tijan spice, which it's like it's mature spice. If that makes sense. Like I wasn't at any point like it wasn't kinky. It wasn't like crazy extra. It was heated. There was tension. There was like build up, but there wasn't anything that made me think twice about it, if that makes sense. So very, very good spice. I would have Kat read this. I just actually texted her today and I said, hey, have you seen The Sons of Anarchy yet? Like, I think that you would really like it. She's like, no, I really want to. And so once she watches that show, I'm going to have her read this book because I think that she would really like it. I think that she would kind of like the motorcycle gang world. It's, I guess you could kind of call it a dark romance, but I don't know. Like, there is killing, there is like plot, like murder plotting, there is like that kind of stuff, but it's like pretty surface level dark. Like, you're not I wasn't surprised at any of like the things that were happening in it because I've seen the show, and I probably will say that a million times. But if you haven't seen the show, I don't think that you would be surprised because when you do like hear about motorcycle gangs or clubs, like you kind of just assume that they are pretty violent or violent in general or like kind of shady. There, of course, are some good ones. I can't speak for all of them, but that's kind of like what you associate them with. And so this book, yeah, definitely dark romance, but there was nothing, again, no red flags. And I enjoyed that. This is a dual point of view, which I don't know if I said that. It goes between Callie and Shane. And I actually really liked it because I liked both of their point of views and where they are at in their lives. So yes, Callie is older. She's 36. She has that maturity. She doesn't just like go off of a whim. Like, she thinks things through. And that's the same with Shane. Shane is the national VP of the whole like club. So he's got to be on his toes. And he actually did 3 tours overseas too. So he's like a veteran, like ex-military. So he like has his skills. Sorry, my light just went out. So if a weird thing just happened, don't worry about it. Okay, so let's get more into these characters and kind of like the skimming the plot, and then we'll just go from there. So talked about Callie. She recently is divorced. I believe that she was married for maybe like 10 years and her husband was like cheating on her the whole time. Finally, she's just like, I'm out. I don't know where they were living previous. I want to say like New York-ish, but she moves back to Indiana, which was where she grew up. That's where her mom and sister are. She doesn't have a relationship with her mom and sister, though, because apparently at Callie's wedding, her mom and sister got like super drunk and just like ruined the whole thing. And they just like wanted the attention. So just like, and it sounds like she doesn't have a good relationship with her sister because her sister's the type that always wants the attention. She ruins everything. She takes everything from Callie. She just is very toxic. And so Callie has been like, I don't want a relationship with you, which is completely understandable. And it sounds like her mom was kind of similar as well. Callie does have a great relationship with her dad, though. So she doesn't share a dad with her 2 siblings. So she has her sister and then her brother, and they don't share a dad. And Callie calls her dad every night. She constantly is talking to him, has a great relationship. I thought that there might be a twist with him because every time she would call, he'd be like super upbeat. And in my head, I was like, is she like imagining him? Is there going to be like a twist with all that? But there isn't. He's just a great dad. So they have great relationship. So there's nothing like plot twisty or anything revolving around him. So yeah, she moved back to Indiana. She works at a grocery store. She actually has her like nursing degree, but she's just kind of like burnt out. So she's like, I just need a job, like just to try and get through just for right now. And so that's what she's doing. Her brother is in prison. He is kind of how they were introduced to the Red Demons. So Shane, who is the main male character, he grew up as their neighbor. He was fostered by their neighbors, and him and Connor, which is her brother, they became really good friends. And Shane, I think he left immediately. I think he dropped out of school, maybe left. But him and Connor kept in contact. And so when he came back, Connor joined the Red Demons, and I think he took the fall for someone, or he really did like I think he like accidentally murdered someone, but he's in prison. Kelly has a really good relationship with him. She is talking to him all the time. And so that's kind of where that is. So one night when she's working at the grocery store, there's like this fight in the aisle. And it's two of the Red Demon gang members, club members, that they're fighting. And so she like breaks it up, everything. And I don't know if they called him or if he just knew, but Shane shows up and Callie's like, "Oh, you're back." And she knew him. She had always had a crush on him, like growing up. And he had a crush on her too, but they didn't do anything about it, just because she's like, "No, I'm just going to stay over here with my two best friends." And so nothing. But they instantly have that connection again. And he comes and picks the guys up and he's like, "Hey, your brother is doing us a favor while he's in prison. Like, how can we repay you?" He tells her that he is bringing in business for her mom's bar. They're going to be buying or building a salon for her sister. And he's like, "Hey, what can we do for you? What do you want?" And she's like, don't involve me in any of this. Like, just leave my brother alone, leave town." Because the Red Demons don't have a chapter in Indiana where they're at. And they're just going through because they wanted to kind of pay tribute to Connor's family because he is doing this favor for them while in prison. Which you find out, I want to say like at the very end, what this favor is or this deed. And she's like, "No, just get out of town, leave my brother alone." And he's like, "I can't really leave your brother alone, but we can get out of town." And so they have that tension, and they do leave. And so she's like, "Okay, everything's great." And then like a week later, maybe a couple days after they left, her mom comes to her and she's like, "Hey, your sister left to follow this club because apparently she was having this like relationship with one of the members. Like, you need to go and get her back. Like, I can't leave the bar. Like, please, can you just do this for me?" And Callie's like, but in the back of her head, she's like, "I kind of want to see Shane again. Like, why am I still thinking about him?" So she gets her two best friends that she's had since high school. We love these two best friends. Like, they are funny. They are just kind of a bright, sunshiny, like, character that brought, like, a lot of great vibes into the story. Like, it would have been fine, more of a sullen vibe if they weren't in there, but I feel like they really brought a lot of energy into the story, which I appreciated, and I really loved that. And they kind of get involved at the end with some of the club business and couple twist, adventure type things, which I thought it added a great aspect to everything. So they're like, "Okay, let's pack up the car and let's drive to California because that's where this club is in Frisco, California." And that's where the title of the book comes from. And so they do. They pack up their car with the three characters and they drive to Frisco. It is a podunk town. It's dying, but the next door town is thriving. It's luxurious. It's got a lot of money. And so she drops her two best friends off there at a resort and she goes to Frisco. And she actually is able to find kind of the hideout or the place that the Red Demons are staying. And so immediately Shane is like, "Hi, what are you doing?" She's like, "I'm here to get my sister." So there's like a whole situation that her sister kind of like messes things up. And so they're trying to keep the sisters separated, but also dealing with one of their allies / enemies. You know how it is, like, keep your enemies close. The cartel that is in town. And so it immediately, like, the whole plot just like thickens, and the energy and like the events, the excitement starts with like the storyline. It just starts rolling. And so you're just like, you're in it. You're like, okay, what's going to happen here? How is this going to do it? Like, It's so good. And yeah, that's when everything starts, and it's kind of tense in some moments, but also in between these events that are happening, Callie and Shane, like they have that instant connection again. They don't have the best of communication, but also it wasn't really like written, of course. So you assume that they talk like to each other. There wasn't a lot of building to their relationship because all of the things that were happening. I felt like they didn't spend a lot of time together, but they just like knew that they wanted to be together, and that that they were had that connection. And so I felt like the events and like the surprises that kind of overshadowed them building who like this romantic story, if that makes sense. But it was good. It was great. Like I loved all of it. I don't think that I have like any complaints. It was just a solid like standalone. That if you like motorcycle clubs, it's perfect for you. This is just a very quick book that you can read. It doesn't get overly complicated. There's not like a ton of characters that you have to learn. It just like it was simple and it was good, and it checked all the boxes, and so I definitely recommend it. I definitely recommend it. So that's pretty much all my thoughts and feelings about this book. I highly recommend that you pick it up, and follow me here on YouTube. Follow me on wherever you listen to podcasts. Subscribe, follow, all that stuff. So anyways, I appreciate you tuning in, and I will see you next week.